What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's really moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is up slightly, 1.09%, 415 the low, 422 the high. So when it comes down to NIO moving higher today, it is largely because of negative data. You see this happen time and time again with under the American data, but for Chinese, we just had one data point coming out early this morning, and that was new loans. Came in a lot lower than the forecast. So essentially showing a little bit of slowing. Nothing to overly panic about, but this might be enough to potentially cut rates. So for a lot of stocks and growth stocks that are going to flourish with a lower interest rate environment, then essentially this is why you're seeing NIO move higher. Because even today, there's no real speculative news articles or anything coming out about it. It is just kind of reacting to the macro data points. So let me know your viewpoint on that. The only other thing that people are essentially bringing up is the latest 13Fs. So all of this is delayed information, all from Q1, but you do have a lot of kind of mixed back and forth. So you have, for instance, HSBC increasing their position 96%. You also have Marathon quite bearish, mind you. So they did increase their calls by 1.3%. They increased their puts by 50,000%, and then they reduced their actual common stock by 34%. So that's kind of the moral of the story and kind of the key takeaway from all of these. It's just divided. And this is most likely why you did see in Q1 NIO not really get that full burst higher that a lot of other Chinese EVs kind of took or did, because clearly big money wasn't fully committed behind it. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from all that fun stuff, you do have shorts currently increasing, 1.38 thousand shares, 12.87% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 204.67 million shares. So as I mentioned in my video yesterday, shorts are starting to break the trend. So they have been returning quite a significant amount ever since roughly around 15% range in April. So shorts have been really kind of returning, and I guess in some cases somewhat justified, but at the end of the day, shorts are still making up a good chunk of the daily volume. So this is why I always like to bring up where volume is coming from on a daily basis, because it, for instance, algorithmic trading is the most powerful tool out there. But secondly, and even if you do have lower volume, shorts, like whatever shorts want is basically, it happens. And I know that might come off as FUD, but that's kind of just the moral of the story. Like, you need big institutions to buy. And we've seen that happen in the past. When big money legitimately gets in on NIO, shorts become just second priority. Shorts just have no actual power. But on days like this, or for instance, many times during Q1, if institutions aren't buying, and clearly they weren't fully, then shorts are able to do whatever the hell they want. But market just opened roughly 30 minutes ago, so take this all with a grain of salt. But 86,000 in calls, 43,000 in puts, 54% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. Of the bulls, you are seeing a consensus for it to be above 450, bears for it to be sub 4, and looks like it is they're anticipating for it to retest roughly that 350 mark in the next couple of weeks, so something to keep in mind. But as of right now, there's only one transaction on the secondary market above $100,000. It was a buy first thing, so that's obviously helped NIO really kind of hit that high mark of 421. So one institution did buy. On the dark pool, it looks as though only one transaction as well. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Aside from that though, with it at 417, just still stuck in limbo between this R1 and the pivot. And it's been kind of like this case for the last week for the most part. So 438 is going to be that key point to really watch for it to get over. And then 384 is going to be that next strong support. On the actual chart itself, this is where you do see it wanting to move higher. So it's about to test that potential 100-day moving average, but it really does struggle with that. And this is where I do feel why shorts did wake up yesterday, because they are trying their very best to avoid NIO to break out on a technical standpoint. And even if we zoom out, that's been a very common occurrence for NIO, with the exception of what happened in March. That seemed to have really broke the trend, but you had here in December, numerous times in December, also January, February, like NIO tried many times to break out, just you have shorts being able to easily manipulate it, and that's kind of what is happening right now. So key point to watch for is going to be that 100-day moving average. If it is able to break above that, then you could see kind of a further push higher. The next level is that 200-day moving average at $4.56. So let me know your thoughts on that. Aside from that, no new analyst ratings or anything along those lines. Like I said, no real even articles coming out associated to NIO. It's kind of just stuck in limbo. So let me know your viewpoint. Are you buying the dip? Are you selling? What's your general thoughts, for instance, on NIO and everything else? So what's your viewpoint on all that? And then one final thing, pop over to my Discord. It is completely free. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you ever need in life. So definitely pop over there. And yeah, with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.